It's the age of spirituality. It's time to, you gotta look for some kind of spiritual endeavor. I chose fighting personally because I think that entering the cage and beating the shit out of somebody and having your life put on the line and struggling for air against a worthy adversary is as spiritual as life gets as a man. But it's the age of spirituality because we're all to be replaced by machines quite quickly. And perhaps the only thing that's going to differentiate you is a spiritual component. If you're strictly regimented inside of this physical world, you're going to lose. ChatGPT can outperform most of you at most tasks already. That's a free app on a web browser. Where are we going to be in 10, 20, 30 years from now? The only thing that's going to be able to differentiate you from the machine mind, from the hive mind, is a degree of spirituality. So we need to all go on some degree of spiritual quest, right? Then you have to ask yourself, what is the spiritual quest? What is spirituality? Because there's people who read the books and walk with the rocks and do the garbage. But I don't think that's real spirituality. I think real spirituality is truthfully always been some degree of battle, whether it's a battle against yourself or a battle against an adversary. That's what spirituality is. That's what it's for. Good versus evil. Heaven versus hell. So you need something to fight against. I analyze myself quite often. Why do I do what I do? Why do I say the things I do and keep getting myself in trouble? Why don't I just shut up and vanish on a boat with a bunch of women and live a happy, easy life? I think it's because there's a spiritual component to war. Knowing that I'm doing the right thing or believing that I'm doing the right thing against oppression makes my spirit happy. Because if you're not going to become a spiritual being in the coming years, I don't know how you're going to differentiate yourself from the machine minds. I don't know how you're going to even compete in this world any longer. You have to be prepared to sacrifice your flesh to resist enslavement. Otherwise, you're just going to be another cog in the machine. Even worse, you're going to be replaced by a machine as your previous place inside of the machine, and then I guess you just become a slave, asking handouts from the government, praying they give you. If God is going to give you the chance to become a successful person, He has to make it difficult. He has to lay out a gauntlet, because within that gauntlet, some people will quit, and they can go become losers, which allow the people who do not quit to be winners. You're on the highway, you're driving. There's exits all along the way to Loserville, Loser Town. When you're tired, when you don't feel like working, when you don't have enough time, when it's difficult, you can get off the highway anytime you want, but if you stay on the highway, you will end up a winner. When I hear people say, oh, it's hard, or I don't have time, etc., all you're doing is telling me you're a loser. Every single winner feels the same as you do. The difference is they do not quit. So what are you fighting for? I guess this is a very interesting question to ask most people. In fact, since I've become rich and I don't really need to make much sense to the common man anymore, it's a question I ask quite often. Members of staff come to me and they say, oh, hi, I'd like to work for you and I can do this, I can do that. I say, what are you fighting for? Fighting? What do you mean? Fired. Loser! What do you mean, what do I mean? Why are you getting up and consuming calories? Why are you waking up and doing anything anymore? You could lay in bed for the next 2 weeks, you'd find food, you wouldn't starve, your bills would get paid. Why are you even waking up in the morning? What are you even doing with your life? What is your goal? What is your objective? As you grow spiritually, there's a huge bubble around you which is trying to constrict you, which is trying to keep you in your place as a slave. You are at war if you are enlightening yourself, if you're learning things, if you're understanding the world in a way you didn't previously understand it. This is what most people don't understand. It is a battle. Spirituality is a battle. Learning about yourself and learning about other people and learning about what it would take for you as a person to be prepared to sacrifice human years inside of a jail cell to resist enslavement, not only for you, not only for your family, but for humanity as a whole. That is a spiritual battle. And in the age of machines, it's only going to be the spiritual people that have any kind of differentiation between the matrix and humanity at all. That's your USP, your spirituality. Don't you understand? That's why you have to do the things you're supposed to do, because you're supposed to do them irregardless of the consequence. That's why you must do it. Because if you don't, you're entering a playing field you can no longer compete on. You are becoming a terrible version of a machine. You can't do math quicker than a calculator. You are going to lose. You now have to be a spiritual being to matter in this world anymore.
Think about how many years, months, hours, seconds, days, all that shit you have wasted on people who suck the fuck. life out of you. Today's a good day for you to go through and shit can those motherfuckers. Shit can those motherfuckers who only call you when they fucking need something. Shit can those motherfuckers who can't get over shit. Who continue to bring up shit from the past. Who can't move forward. Life is short. Life is precious. Spend that time with the people you love. The people you want to give that time to. Real friends, real family. Everybody else, they're just sucking up the air you breathe. You need that motherfucker to be hard. Stay hard.
There is a secret to the universe that most don't know. If you actually try your best, you can't lose. Not pretend to try your best, not try your best 90% of the time, not try your best with excuses. If you genuinely try your best all of the time, all day, every day, it's impossible to lose. So when people say, if you tried your best, it's okay to lose, that is a logic fail. Because if you lost, you didn't try your best in the first place. If you actually try your best, it is impossible to fail in this life. God is watching and he rewards those who want it the most. If you want it the most, you can have it. It's a competition. Every dollar you want, the house you want, the car you want, other people want, you have to win. You have to want it the most and genuinely do your best, because most people aren't capable of doing their best anymore. To get up every day, whether they feel like it or not, and perform regardless. That is the secret.
What statement are you making? The psychology of savagery. I wasn't the best runner, but what I did was I found the work schedules out of my competition, and I made sure they saw me running day and night. I tried to get in their fucking heads. I got a video the other day of this UFC fighter, Ferguson. This motherfucker weighs in, and the UFC is fucking canceled. He wasn't just weighing in. He was getting the fucking head of his opponents. What he did was this. He wanted you to remember his fucking hands and elbows slice you the fuck up. Remember this. Stay hard at all times. Savagery.
It's supposed to be hard. Life is supposed to be hard. You're supposed to think this is terrible. You're supposed to suffer and smile through the pain regardless. I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you. You're only going to be cared about based on how useful you are. You have the chance to build yourself up and become a superhero if you're prepared to do the hard work and be indefatigable enough to never quit. But if you're going to stand around and wait for a handout, nobody's going to ever respect you. And I think that a lot of people have forgotten about how difficult and how competitive it is as a man. We're always in constant competition with each other. And it's your duty as a man to stand up and say, I want to be as important and strong and good-hearted and God-fearing as possible, and I need to work hard to achieve those things. Perhaps I was sad every time I did exactly what I was supposed to do and trained anyway. Perhaps I was afraid when I fought anyway. Perhaps I was tired when I worked anyway. This is how you get ahead in life. I don't have an ounce of sympathy for these people who sit here and say, well, I feel this way, so I can't. Then don't do it. The winners are at the top, and the winners at the top don't give a shit about how they feel. Why am I going to ignore how I feel and make sure I'm constantly performing regardless, flawlessly, and then sit and go, oh, but he doesn't feel good, so he's allowed to fuck up. No, you are not. You're not allowed to fuck up to your ancestors or to God or to yourself. You have to perform. This is what being a man is about. The baseline of masculinity is doing things you don't feel like doing. The thing that makes a good man is that he does what he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to work and he works anyway. He doesn't want to get up, he gets up anyway. That's the whole point of it. You can't sit there as a man and say you don't feel like it. You're not allowed to not feel like it. You're supposed to do it anyway, regardless. So when a man sits there and says, oh, but you don't understand, I'm struggling with motivation. If you are struggling with the motivation to be a winner, then stay a fucking loser.